you've scrolled through Twitter as of late, turned on CNN, or more specifically looked at any of President Trump's tweets, you're probably familiar with the Lincoln Project. The so-called conservative principled Super Pac ran by a number of ex-Republican operatives, including Kellyanne Conway's husband, George Conway, who was recently in 2017 was lobbying the president for a job. But not only is the Lincoln Project not actually conservative, it's unclear if it's anything other than a grift at all. The Lincoln Project made headlines last week because they fired Ben Howe, one of the few actually principled conservatives on their staff who was making the videos that had enraged the president so much. Why was he fired? For using a couple of crass words of female anatomy as insults. Rick Wilson, who's done the exact same thing multiple times over to describe women, he got off scot-free. Rick Wilson, does the name strike a bell? Not because he's a principled conservative, but because he made headlines when he went on Don Lemon's show to joke about how if you support the president, you probably can't find Ukraine on a map. Now let's talk about the Lincoln Project's actual goals and values. It's one thing to oppose Trump. He's not everyone's cup of tea. It's another thing to try and give Democrats control of the Senate. They're targeting the most vulnerable Republicans who are up for re-election this November, like Susan Collins, the pro-choice senator, and Cory Gardner. Hardly a Trumpist if there ever were one. Now, it's one thing to say that you'd prefer Biden to Trump because my principles or whatnot. It's another to say you not only want to elect a President Joe Biden, but also hand Democrats Nancy Pelosi, Ilhan Omar, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez the keys to the kingdom by handing them the Senate as well. But it's not just that the Lincoln Project is actually a Democratic operative group. It's also just majorly a grift. Other than the few ads, which again were made by Ben Howe, who has since been unfairly fired, it's unclear what their money is even going to. According to FEC filings, $5,000 went to one of the founders, Jennifer Horn. Another $15,000 went to a company owned by, yet again, one of the other founders. And even more tellingly, they aren't making ad buys in localized markets to specifically target Susan Collins in Maine or target Cory Gardner in Colorado. Instead, most of the ads are either meant for primetime Fox News to piss off the president or digital to, once again, piss off the president. It's unclear who the Lincoln Project's target audience is, other than, again, ex-Republican operatives who realize they are officially irrelevant. If a group of political has-beens want to take your money because they realize that they won't find another job in Washington, after all, it's not as though the Biden administration is going to take them on when this is all over, that's fine. But admit that it's a grift and stop calling it conservative.
Don't have the First TV app yet? What are you waiting for? Download the First TV app right now on Apple, Google Play, Roku, or Amazon Fire and start watching today.